The night sky over eastern Ukraine was silent until a single roar broke through the clouds. A Ukrainian MiG-29, painted in gray camouflage and carrying a deadly load, crossed the invisible line into Russian-controlled airspace. Its mission? To strike a heavily fortified Russian base, a target protected by layers of air defenses, radar nets, and electronic jammers. No one believed a lone jet could make it in and out alive, but what happened next stunned everyone watching from command centers across Europe. The MiG's pilot, call-sign Falcon 3, had trained for weeks for this single operation. Every second of flight was mapped, every radar pulse anticipated. The plan relied on precision and timing, not brute force. As the jet screamed eastward at treetop level, its radar signature blended with the ground clutter. Russian tracking stations struggled to separate it from civilian noise. Ukraine's intelligence had found a gap, a small window in the radar coverage. It was barely wide enough for a single pass. Flying at 900 kilometers per hour, Falcon 3 raced toward that window. The ground below flashed by, forests, rivers, and empty roads. He knew one mistake, one flare too late, and Russian S-400s would turn his jet into debris. Inside the cockpit, his HUD flickered. The coordinates for the Russian logistics base appeared, a complex storing ammunition, drones, and short-range ballistic missiles. "Target locked," he whispered. At 40 kilometers out, he armed the JDAM, a precision bomb guided by satellite. The MiG's onboard system synchronized in seconds, calculating wind speed, elevation, and distance. Then came the warning tone, enemy radar lock. He knew what that meant. The Russians had found him, but it was too late for them to stop him. Falcon 3 pulled up slightly, released the JDAM, and banked hard west. The bomb detached cleanly, cutting through the night sky before disappearing into the horizon. Seconds later, a flash brighter than lightning tore across the landscape. The explosion shattered the silence. Secondary blasts followed as ammunition depots ignited like fireworks. In that instant, millions of dollars worth of Russian assets were gone. But the mission wasn't over. The escape was the hardest part. Russian radars locked again, missiles launched from multiple directions, the unmistakable trails of S-300s streaking upward. Falcon 3 dove low, hugging the terrain to break radar contact. One missile passed so close the jet shook violently, warning lights blinking across the panel. Hydraulic pressure dropped. A control line had been hit. He fought the stick, stabilizing the MiG as alarms screamed in his headset. Each kilometer west felt like a lifetime. Ukrainian command tried to guide him through safe corridors, but Russian interceptors were already in the air. Fuel levels were dropping fast. He jettisoned everything unnecessary, external tanks, pods, anything to lighten the load. The MiG limped on, one control surface barely responding. And then, just when it seemed he wouldn't make it, a familiar voice came through the radio. "Falcon 3, this is Guardian 1. We have you on radar. You're almost home." Ukrainian air defense opened a protective corridor, blanketing the sky with radar coverage. Russian jets turned back. Falcon 3 crossed friendly airspace with less than 3 minutes of fuel left. When the MiG landed, its rear fuselage was scorched and one wing trailing hydraulic fluid. Mechanics rushed in, counting bullet holes and fragments. The pilot stepped down, calm but exhausted. The footage from his targeting pod confirmed the hit. The Russian base was completely destroyed. Satellite images later showed a crater the size of a football field. This wasn't just another mission, it was a statement. A message that even with limited resources, Ukraine could outthink, outmaneuver, and outfly a much larger opponent. Military analysts called it one of the most daring solo air raids of the war. It showcased Ukraine's growing ability to merge Western precision weapons with old Soviet hardware, turning a 1980s MiG into a platform capable of surgical strikes. But beyond the technology, what really mattered was the mindset. The courage to take calculated risks, to adapt, to strike under impossible odds. That spirit, the one that brought a battered MiG home against all logic, has become Ukraine's defining weapon. Each mission like this chips away at Russia's confidence, forcing them to divert resources, stretch their air defenses, and question how much control they truly have over the skies. As dawn broke over the airfield, Falcon 3 looked back at his damaged jet. The sun glinted off its battered wings, proof that even machines built decades ago could still make history in the right hands. In wars of the future, it's not just about who has more missiles or newer aircraft. It's about who dares to fly when others would turn back. And that's what keeps Ukraine in the fight. Resilience, innovation, and the belief that even one strike can change the course of a war.